You tapped the magnifying glass. You wanted a cable. The bar asked you a question instead. That little line used to mean type a word, hit go, see a grid. Now it says search or ask a question, and a chat sheet slides up like you booked a meeting with a salesperson. You didn't ask for a conversation. You asked for a product, a setting, a size, and the interface decided the fastest lookup of your day should start with polite small talk you never wanted. And it isn't just one store. The magnifying glass keeps turning into a chatbot on the apps you already use. Amazon stuffed Rufus, its shopping assistant, right into the mobile search bar. By May this year, they were calling it Alexa for shopping. Tap the bar and a chat dialog climbs up from the bottom of your phone. The overlay sits there, eating the bottom of the screen, waiting for you to chat. You can shove it down for now. Whether you can make it stay gone is another story. You came for a grid of charges. You got a conversation starter you have to babysit. Traditional search is blunt and honest. You type a keyword, a database matches it. Checkboxes and sliders let you cut the pile by price, brand, size, while you still see the counts. Conversational search works differently. A language model reads your free-form sentence, guesses several attributes at once, and keeps a dialogue going so the next reply depends on whatever you said last. That's useful when your need is messy. Hiking trails by difficulty, with a pros and cons table, without opening page after page. People actually do that with tools like Gemini, and it works. The problem is they bolted that same trick onto the thing you use when you just need socks. Usability researchers at Nielsen Norman Group sat with small groups, 9 people at a time, and watched real lookups across ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Amazon Rufus, and Google. Not a giant survey, a close watch. People didn't treat the chatbot as a replacement for search. They used chat for broad synthesis, then flipped back to ordinary search when they needed a price, a spec, or something they could verify. On those site chatbots, they typed like they were still in a search bar. Short, direct queries. They wanted concise, scannable information, not dialogue, not polite filler, not another prompt. So they watched people use chat like a search box. Then they put a chat box in the search box. On Amazon's phone app, the assistant isn't a side feature. It lives in the search bar. The chat climbs up from the bottom, and you dismiss it by swiping or tapping. Then it comes back next time. People on Reddit and forums report the panel eats as much as half the screen and drags the app down. Some say they give up and browse the mobile site instead, or leave for another engine. Amazon doesn't give you a permanent switch in the app. You dismiss it. It returns. So people built their own off switch, browser extensions, ad blocker rules, user scripts. One of them is literally named Adios Alexa for shopping. That's what a feature looks like when the audience writes the uninstall button. Google's answer pages lean the same way. An AI overview sits on top of the links you used to scan. The old results are still there. They just start lower after the generated paragraph. They didn't delete search. They just made you walk through a chatbot to reach it. Conversational search has a real job. If you need a jacket that's waterproof, under a budget, in a size, without a hood, one ordinary sentence can beat 10 minutes of checkbox archaeology. Industry write-ups even claim conversational search lifts conversions and revenue. Amazon says hundreds of millions of people use the assistant and that it drove sales. Those are their numbers, and they have every reason to like them. The catch is what you actually type most days, not a 5-constraint jacket. A brand name, a model number, a size. Visual filters already solve that with checkboxes, sliders, and counts you can see. Facet filters run on recognition. You see the option, you tap it, you see how many items remain. Chat asks you to invent a prompt, then pass a paragraph, then decide if the machine heard you. Nobody has measured how often you swipe that overlay away versus how often you play along. The studies were small. 9 people, North America and the UK, watching screens. They tell you about behavior, not about market share. Nobody published a clean speed comparison of a database lookup versus a language model overlay. And I can't prove they did this just to juice an internal AI adoption chart. Conversion is a simpler story, and it might even be true for the messy queries. The routine ones still get treated like a product demo. What you're left with is a hybrid that still has the old index underneath and a glowing prompt sitting on the door. Fast lookups now start with a dismissal. Complex ones get a paragraph. Everything in between gets slower. So the magnifying glass still works. It just wants a conversation before it does its job. Search or ask a question. That placeholder is the whole bet in 6 words. They didn't remove the database. They put a conversation on the doorway and hoped you'd treat a lookup like a chat. You tapped the magnifying glass for a cable. How many swipes before search or ask a question is just a question you didn't ask?